Right, okay everyone, it's Wednesday, hump day, I believe some people call it. It's mid-afternoon and it's already like pretty much pitch black where I'm recording. On top of that, it's freezing cold, feels like the middle of winter, and we're only in, early December. On top of all of that, for the first time during the World Cup, we have a day with no matches at all, but I'm not going to let that affect my mood at all today. I promise you're not going to get any hint of negativity from me at all. It's going to be completely positive, optimistic video. The good thing about us getting to the days with no matches during the World Cup is that suggests that the end is near. And the end of the World Cup means that Celtic are going to be back. We're actually going to be back, I believe, the day before the World Cup final when we go to Aberdeen. We're now just 10 days away from that. So we're really getting close. And yeah, I just can't wait for Celtic to get back. Before then, obviously, we've got the World Cup to finish. Quite excited by the prospects of the last 8, to be honest. Plenty of interesting narratives in there. What have we got? Potential Brazil-Argentina semi. That is getting me very excited. Potential Messi v Ronaldo, if he plays, final. We've still got Josip Juranovic going strong, of course, with Croatia, with England, France and Portugal on the other side of the draw too. Plenty of crackers to come and lots to look forward to. But today we're focusing primarily, which means mainly, on Celtic. And we start today with the earth-shattering breaking news from the Daily Record. They tweeted it last night. It reads, Moussa Dembele's Celtic windfall plummets as low-ball Galatasaray offer to Lyon leaves paltry Parkhead payday. I love the alliteration in there. I love the headlines. If I can ever get as good at writing headlines for these videos as those Daily Record ones, I'll be on to a winner. Yeah, I just don't really know what to say to that. Probably stop this video here, probably just give up supporting Celtic for the rest of my life. It's almost as if we're 9 points clear in the Premiership and they're needing to kind of balance things up a wee bit. Elsewhere in actual news, in terms of stuff coming out from Celtic, it's been suspiciously quiet. The team we're led to believe are in Portugal right now. They've been out there, I think, since Sunday. But you wouldn't really know it, certainly at the point I'm recording, which, as I say, is mid-afternoon on Wednesday, December the 7th. There's been nothing, really, on the social media channels from training in Portugal, be that on Twitter, Facebook, videos on YouTube. There has been nothing from Celtic. So, don't know what we read into that at all. Maybe they're just getting to work quietly. Maybe we're going to get things ramped up a wee bit. We're playing Rennes on Saturday, so you'd assume we'd get some sort of content from that match. I don't think it's going to be a glamorous affair. I think it's going to be behind closed doors. We may not even get a link to watch the game. It may just be one of these matches that you hear the score of and you hear rumours about a certain player playing quite well or whatever, but we'll have to wait and see. In the meantime, 67 Hail Hail have been looking at an updated version of our squad depth, and this is what it looks like with, of course, the additions of Alistair Johnston and Yuki Kobayashi. We stuck this out on Twitter the other day and asked you where you felt the priorities lay in the January transfer window. The common consensus seemed to be that we could do with another striker. I think a third striker would be good in January. I've spoken about the kind of profile of striker I'd like to see Celtic sign. I think we've got 2 very good strikers at the club, but having a third option I don't think would be a bad idea at all. It'll probably come down to Ange's squad planning and probably him looking at the summer and, what we may need at that stage. We know Ange's very much ahead of the curve with transfer stuff. You only have to go back a year ago to last January when we signed Matt O'Reilly. Not too many people felt we needed Matt O'Reilly. It then transpired 5-6 months later, if that there was a very good reason for Matt O'Reilly and that Tom Rogic was leaving the club. So will Ange be looking at potential departures from Celtic in the summer and signing players early? Now, the obvious one that people are chatting about is Josip Juranovic. We have already solved that issue as far as I'm concerned. We'll have to wait and see how Alistair Johnston is. But if we sold Juranovic on the 1st of January, we'd have Johnston ready to come in pretty much straight away, and obviously Ralston there as well. So Yeah, I think it's going to be interesting this January to see what Ange looks at and whether he indeed surprises us again. That squad that you're seeing there, by the way, is taken from virtually every corner of the globe. You just have to look at some of the names there. But I think the kind of overseas recruitment, if you want to call it that, is something we're going to continue to see at Celtic. We got a report on Sunday evening. I say report, it was actually a tweet from Sky Sports' Anthony Joseph saying Celtic have been scouring the globe for talent, with scouts monitoring leagues in countries including South Korea, Iran and the United Arab Emirates this year. It's understood a number of targets from the Middle East, Asia and also North Africa have emerged, including South Korea forward Cho Gae-sung. This is hardly surprising. Ange has made it clear on a number of occasions that he sees real potential in some of the markets in these kind of countries. He's name-checked, I think, Iran and South Korea.
Played in Paris to a pretty high level in a continent who's often looked down upon by Europeans to their detriment. And in bearing in mind, and I hope you don't mind me saying this, I think you're proving you've got an eye for a player. So with that in mind, do you believe there's any nations or league that are basically untapped and could and maybe should be looked at in the future for European football going forward?
Yeah, no, I guess, you know, obviously the majority of my football sort of career and life has been on the other side of the world, and, you know, I've seen football grow in that region, particularly in Asia, particularly over the last sort of 15, 20 years, and I think it's kind of snuck up a little bit on the world. I think you see it in football in general. I mean, you even look at the qualifiers, you know, the World Cup qualifiers now, and you'll see nations all of a sudden competing for World Cup spots that, you know, 20 years ago we used to sort of dismiss as minnows of the world, and very few countries like that exist here in Europe, and I think particularly European clubs are taking notice of that, but I still think there's a little bit of a blind spot when it comes to Asia. There's some top quality players already from Japan and probably South Korea, the two biggest nations, who are already fantastic talents that have proven themselves at the highest possible level. And there's definitely more there. I know it, I've lived it. The technical level of the players from that side of the world, their discipline, the way they sort of think about their football careers, they're very, very focused. I think what they've maybe lacked in the past, in you know, Asian players in particular, is that sometimes they've been wary of taking that leap across the world, the other side of the world, into the unknown in terms of culture, in terms of these kind of things. And as more and more Japanese players and South Korean in particular players have made it here, I think that's encouraged them that they can make that leap and feel confident about it. Iran's another nation that's got some fantastic footballers. So, look, I don't want to say too much because I want to sort of corner the market ourselves. So I don't want to give too much away. But there's definitely talent, and I think you'll see more and more of it sort of filtering through to clubs on this side of the world. And I think you'll even see it in terms of world football context, when you see some of these nations at World Cups, they'll start improving their results, and more people will take notice for sure.
And I think it's inevitable we're going to see players joining Celtic from these countries. I think it's inevitable we're going to see a South Korean again at Celtic. We're going to see an Iranian at Celtic. Don't think we've ever had an Iranian. And you only have to look at the World Cup so far, albeit that all of these countries have now been eliminated, to realise that there are really good players being developed in these countries. And, you know, looking at the squads of the likes of Iran and Saudi Arabia and South Korea, Japan not quite as much, the vast majority of these players are still playing in their domestic leagues in those countries. So I do wonder how much we've been looking at these kind of countries who have kind of been the story, certainly of the first couple of weeks of the World Cup, with big upsets. And how likely Celtic are maybe to sign players from these countries. I think it's exciting because we've seen the value for money we can get in Japan, and I think it's part of how we bridge the gap in the Champions League. it's so obvious that looking at these kind of less fancied countries and regions offers far better value for money than Europe does. I mean, we talk about us not being able to sign, the top players from England and Spain and Italy and Germany and France, whatever. That's been the case for ages. But you even look at countries like Belgium now and some of the Scandinavian countries, and these players are going for money that we just can't really afford to pay or risk to pay on one deal. Whereas if we look into countries like Japan and you sign players like Hatate and Kyogo and Daisen Maeda, I mean, how much would we have to have spent to sign players of that quality where they play in Belgium or Denmark or somewhere like that? So I'm all for it. I think it's exciting. Just on the Cho Gae-sung stuff, he had a pretty profitable World Cup for South Korea. He netted 2 goals, both against Ghana. He also finished as the joint top scorer in the K-League 1 last season. That's the top league in South Korea, with 17 goals. So he's said to be on the move as well. So we will wait and see whether Celtic have genuine interest in him. I certainly wouldn't be surprised. Another player that we do seem to have interest in is Egyptian attacking midfielder Mohamed Magdi. He's also been mentioned as a potential signing. Again, that just showcases Celtic's global scouring for talent. As always, we'll keep you updated with any developments with these players or any other players, but expect Celtic to be busy over the next few weeks, and that's only December. We'll wait and see what happens in January as well. Now, Celtic are back in mid-December, December the 17th, when we go to Pittodrie to take on Aberdeen. Our third game back is a home match against St Johnstone on Christmas Eve. The kickoff has been brought forward to a lunchtime slot just to make it easier for people who are going off to do certain things after the game. But the big news at the moment about this game that makes it kind of very strange and almost disconcerting is that Celtic will not be wearing the hoops at Celtic Park for that game. We're going to be wearing an away kit. Now, I would assume either our black and green stripes or our grey third kit. The reason for this is to raise awareness for Charity Shelter and their hashtag No Home Kit campaign. The women's team took part in this last weekend, so that's going to be very strange to turn up for a home game and see Celtic not wearing the hoops. From memory, the only time I can remember that happening was a game against Hearts. I think in maybe 2012 it would have been. For the 125th anniversary, we wore a kind of all-white kit. I remember Giorgio Samaras scored the winner that day, and that was bizarre. On a side note, remember we had like the black socks that we wore with our home kit that season, but only for like the first 2 months of the season, and then they were ditched, probably because they didn't look very good. But I just got a wee reminder of that there. But it's going to be strange, but we've got that to look forward to. Elsewhere, before I go on this wee roundup, Daisen Maeda has wished good luck to Josip Juranovic in heartfelt scenes that took place over social media. Of course, Juranovic's Croatia knocked Maeda's Japan out on heartbreaking penalty kicks. Maeda scored earlier on in that match to give Japan the lead. He is the first current Celtic player to score at a World Cup since Shunsuke Nakamura in 2006 against Australia. Samaras, Georgios that is, did it in 2014, but he had just played his final game for Celtic, so it doesn't really count. Maeda and Juranovic also had a wee moment after the game, which was just lovely to see. And Juranovic now, by the way, in the quarterfinals of the World Cup, set to go up against Vinicius Junior, and we know how that often goes. So that's going to be interesting. That, I believe, is on Friday afternoon, I think. And yeah, we're just waiting for Celtic to come back. We're like a week and a half away from the team returning at Pittodrie against Aberdeen, and I hope I speak for us all in saying that I just can't wait for the drama to return to our lives. The World Cup has been fine, it's been exciting, I think it's been pretty good overall, but you can't beat Celtic. VAR drama, teams with 11 men sitting behind the ball, dodgy pay-per-view streams, sign me up for a lot of it. I can't wait. We've got 10 days to go till it's all back, everyone. Before then, we've got plenty of videos though starting tomorrow when I will return.